You like that? 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 You like that?
What's going on? It's Coach Williams, and I'm back for another breakdown. So today we are going to talk Christian Gonzalez. I know it's been a while since I've been on the channel, finished my football season, so now I'm going to do some breakdowns for you guys. And it was not a great performance by the New England Patriots against the Arizona Cardinals, but Christian Gonzalez was one of the lone highlights in this game. He had a phenomenal performance against Marvin Harrison Jr., was locked up against him in man-to-man coverage for a good portion of the game. A lot of people had Marvin Harrison Jr. as their number one wide receiver in last year's draft. Y'all know me, I was more of a Neighbors guy, but a lot of people think that this guy is a really elite talent, and Christian Gonzalez pretty much shut him down. So let's talk about some of the things that he did in this game, all right? So all these clips are going to be man-to-man coverage, so he's in man-to-man coverage on him here, all right? And we're going to start with the negatives first. That's what we always do. We want to finish on a positive note. So early on in the game, very early in the game, they ran this mesh concept here, okay? And so he's in man-to-man coverage. This is a man beater here. And so you can see he's trying to stay on the upfield shoulder of Harrison Jr. here, and they do a really good job here, this receiver, of not getting a offensive pass interference penalty here. He kind of head fakes him and doesn't make any contact with him, right? That's a really good job from the receiver that creates this separation, and Harrison Jr. is off to the races, gets a nice, big, mini explosive play right there, right? 15-yard completion, big play early on in the game. So what do they decide to do? They come out in empty formation, and they come back to it later in the game, all right? And so, again, we're getting this mesh concept, and you'll notice he's not making the same mistake twice. He knows that he's got the speed and explosiveness to hang with Marvin Harrison Jr., and that Marvin Harrison Jr. is not going to run away from him. Even though these mesh concepts, they're man beaters, it's hard to hang with these guys, right? He knows he's not going to be able to run away from them. He runs 4.3. We don't know what Harrison Jr.'s 40 is, but he knows that he's faster than him. So what does he do? Instead of going on the upfield shoulder like you're coached to, normally that's what you would do, he stacks behind him, right? Gets out of phase, stacks behind him, because he knows he's never going to run away from him. And look at him, he's in his hip pocket. Really good adjustment to be able to make on that play. And if we go back here, you'll even see Kyler Murray is looking here, right? He wants to throw this ball here. Look where the eyes go when he gets to the top of the drop. They're right there on Marvin Harrison Jr. Wants to throw that ball there. Can't do it, right? Double clutches, and now he's got to scramble. The play breaks down, okay? So, another play here. All right, we'll talk a little bit more about the schematics on this one, right? Another negative play here, okay? So, they're in man-to-man coverage here, all right? And so, we're going to talk a little bit more about the schematic side on this one. So, they're in cover one cut, and that's really important for what you're going to see in the mistake that I think that Gonzo makes on this play, all right? So, cover one cut. What does cover one cut mean? Cover one cut means they're in man-to-man coverage, so we've got all these guys locked up here, right? Everybody's locked up on their man. But, okay, Marcus Jones is going to play outside leverage on this number 2 receiver here, okay? And if he breaks to the inside, Duggar is going to steal him, okay? So you'll notice all the DBs to start are square, or all the man-to-man coverage defenders are square to the line of scrimmage, hips and shoulders square, all right? So as the route progresses here, Marcus Jones opens because he knows that if he goes to the outside, he has to take him. If he goes to the inside, he's going to cut him loose, okay? But Gonzo opens. Look at all the rest of the defenders, though. They're square to the line of scrimmage. Gonzo should not be opening up like this. He should stay square to the line of scrimmage because he's not going to cut this guy loose. He has to cover him. So I always like to call it a triple threat position, just like in basketball, right? So I can break downhill, I can break to the outside either direction, or I can turn and open my hips and do a 180 turn here. So if I'm square to the line of scrimmage, that's how I'm going to be. But since he's opened up here, now he's not in a position. He's got to stick his foot in the ground to be able to break and drive out of this break, okay? So you'll even see here, right? So cover one cut. Marcus Jones is on this number 2 receiver. He goes to the inside, cuts him loose, passes him off to Duggar, right? So he can be opened, right? He can be in that half turn. Gonzo should be square to the line of scrimmage, and that leads to a completion. It's always going to be much easier if we see at the top of the route. It's always going to be much easier if you're square, right, like these defenders are, to be able to break downhill and break on this route rather than being opened up like this, right? All right, next play. So, man-to-man coverage here. And so this is when they started trying to test him vertical into the outside. And I do not know why that was in the game plan. It doesn't make any sense to me. So we'll see here. This is a really good technique here, right? Good patient feet, hips, shoulders, square to the line of scrimmage, and then he stabs at the pec. A lot of coaches teach stabbing at the pec. I like to coach it stabbing at the armpit, but this is the technique that most other people do. So that's picture perfect right there. Then it's a little out and up here, okay? So very good route here from Harrison Jr. with the subtlety looking back like the ball is coming. And he almost gets Gonzo a little bit, but Gonzo's quickness and just agility is so elite that he stays in his back pocket. Then we get to the top of the route. He's in a chest-to-chest position here. Very good technique, especially for a bigger corner like Gonzo. And then this is where the technical savvy comes into play on this play here, okay? Throws the hands up, takes the hands off immediately when the ball gets here and throws his hands up, even though he knows he's never going to make a play on the football here. He's not going to get a PBU or an interception, but he throws the hands up so that he doesn't get a penalty. If he's staying in contact here when the ball arrives, that's always going to be a penalty. He throws the hands up, very savvy veteran move, incomplete pass, all right? So now we head into the red zone, all right? And you guys know me. I always talk about two-hand jam versus one-hand jam. You should always two-hand jam, and you can bring that second hand if you stone the guy and he loses momentum. But once we get into the red zone, they're in the high red zone just outside of it here, then you can start to two-hand jam because we want to disrupt the route a little bit more. And if we win early, right, if we're that breakfast corner, right, and we win early in the route, it's going to be better because the ball is going to have to come out quicker in the red zone. So Gonzo just doesn't even buzz his feet or anything. He's just super patient, and then he attacks Harrison Jr. with two hands. It's a really good job of doing that. But the problem is he doesn't stone his momentum. Marvin Harrison Jr. does get the release that he wants. But again, he's got the speed. He trusts his speed, so he's on top of the route. And Kyler Murray tries to throw this one as a back shoulder. Gonzo is all over it. Really good job right there, all right? So then, next play, we're in the red zone again, all right? And so this one, he makes a mistake here, so he should be outside leverage. You see, he steps out right here. He bites on the inside move and loses leverage, right? And you can see his eyes get caught in the backfield here. He's trying to look back. Not very good eye discipline on this play. But he's got the speed and the patience. One thing about Gonzo, I said this when he was coming out in the draft, before he got drafted by the Patriots, I said one of my favorite traits about him is he does not panic when he's out of phase. So he's out of phase here. Most guys are beat in this position. They're not going to be able to recover. He doesn't panic, just reads the eyes, reads the hands, punches the ball out, incomplete pass, right? Then I like a little bit of the swagger at the end of the play. I love that. You always want to see that DB swag. So this one, it almost looks like a carbon copy of the last play, right? This is the last play we're going to talk through. Looks like a carbon copy almost, right? Again, he loses leverage, gets caught inside, but it doesn't matter. He trusts his speed, gets hands on, attacks the football, waits for the reaction of the receiver, waits for the hands, his eyes, attacks the football. And then y'all know on this channel, we always talk about balance being a DB trait. I love this one because this is a rep here where he ends the rep on his feet, right? Really love it when you see that from your corners, okay? So Christian Gonzalez going up against a guy who was the top rookie receiver for most people, and he totally stoned him, right? I think he only gave up those two completions that we put on here, right? Did a really good job in tight coverage. Great job from Christian Gonzalez. And so, really excited to continue to see him go up against these really good receivers over time, because he has consistently raised his level of play whenever he's played against Pro Bowl caliber or All-Pro caliber receivers. So one of the few bright spots for the New England Patriots. So that's it for this video, and I will see you in the next one. So as always, you know what it is. Coach Williams, Ball Hawks, we fly. I'm out. Peace.